The grand hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with chatter and laughter. Beings from 1,000 worlds mingled, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. In one corner, a group of dignitaries huddled together, pointing and snickering at the latest arrivals. "Look at them," sneered Ambassador Zixlor, his tentacles waving in amusement. "The humans have come again. How quaint." The human delegation, led by Ambassador Sarah Chen, walked into the hall with their heads held high. But even their bravest faces couldn't hide the nervousness in their eyes. They knew what was coming. As they passed by the other species, whispers and giggles followed them like a wave. "Did you hear about their latest breakthrough?" a blue-skinned alien asked his companion. "They think they've mastered fusion power. We mastered that eons ago." His friend, a being made of pure energy, flickered in what could only be described as laughter. "Oh, that's rich. Next, they'll claim they've invented faster-than-light travel." Ambassador Chen tried to ignore the comments, but her face grew redder with each step. She had hoped this time would be different. Earth had made significant progress in the past decade. Surely they deserved some respect now. As the humans took their seats, tiny chairs at the far end of the hall, the council president, a massive creature named Grokthar, called for order. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Grokthar's voice boomed, "we gather today to discuss the petition from Earth." He said the word as if it left a bad taste in his mouth. Ambassador Chen stood up, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Honorable President, esteemed council members, we come before you today to request." But before she could finish, a wave of laughter swept through the hall. Chen's words were drowned out by the cacophony of alien amusement. "Oh, let me guess," interrupted Zixlor, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You want to join the Interstellar Trade Alliance, or perhaps you're ready to contribute to the Galactic Defense Force." More laughter followed. Chen's colleagues shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Actually," Chen tried again, her voice louder this time, "we've made significant advancements in quantum computing and—" "Quantum computing," a crystalline being chimed in. "That's adorable. We use quantum systems to manage our waste disposal." The hall erupted in fresh peals of laughter. Chen felt her cheeks burning, but she stood her ground. "Please," she said, her voice now tinged with desperation, "if you'd just give us a chance to demonstrate." Grokthar raised a massive claw, silencing the room. "Ambassador Chen," he said, his voice a mixture of pity and amusement, "we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm, but let's be realistic. Your species is barely a blip in the cosmic timeline. You've only just figured out how to leave your own solar system." "But we're learning fast," Chen protested. "We've colonized Mars, we've established bases on Europa and Titan. We're making progress." A ripple of chuckles spread through the audience. To them, these achievements were like a toddler's first steps. Cute, but ultimately insignificant. "Very well," Grokthar said, clearly eager to move on. "We'll review your petition. In the meantime, perhaps you'd like to observe our proceedings. You might learn something." As Chen and her team were ushered to the observers' gallery, she couldn't help but feel a mix of anger and shame. How long would Earth have to endure this humiliation? When would they finally be taken seriously? Little did the Galactic Council know, back on Earth, a team of brilliant scientists was working on a project that would change everything. In a secret facility deep beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Samira Khan stared at a complex array of equations floating in holographic display. "We're close," she muttered to herself. "So close to cracking the seventh dimension. If only the galaxy knew what was coming." Their laughter wouldn't last much longer. Earth's time was approaching, and when it arrived, the entire universe would be forced to take notice. As the human delegation endured another day of mockery in the Galactic Council, they held on to a sliver of hope. Soon, very soon, everything would change. And when it did, the laughter would stop. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a hidden facility known only to a select few, Dr. Samira Khan rubbed her tired eyes. She had been staring at holographic displays for hours, trying to make sense of the complex equations floating before her. "Dr. Khan," a voice called out. It was her assistant, Alex. "You've been working for 18 hours straight. Don't you think you should rest?" Samira shook her head. "We're so close, Alex. I can feel it. The answer is right here, just out of reach." The secret project, codenamed Seventh Heaven, had been in progress for 5 years now. Its goal was ambitious beyond belief: to create a vessel capable of navigating the seventh dimension. If successful, it would revolutionize space travel and give humanity an edge that no other species in the galaxy possessed. As Samira continued to work, her mind drifted to the video call she had received earlier that day. It was from her old friend, Ambassador Sarah Chen, reporting from the Galactic Council. "It's getting worse, Samira," Sarah had said, her face etched with frustration. "They don't even try to hide their contempt anymore. We're a laughingstock." Samira had felt a surge of determination. "Don't worry, Sarah. We're making progress. Soon, they won't be laughing anymore." Now, as she manipulated the holographic models, Samira felt the weight of humanity's hopes on her shoulders. The equations were like a puzzle, each piece slowly falling into place. Suddenly, something clicked in her mind. "That's it," she exclaimed, startling Alex. "Quick, run a simulation with these parameters." Alex rushed to input the data. The room hummed as the supercomputer processed the information. Moments later, a new model appeared in the air. Samira's eyes widened. "It's stable," she whispered in awe. "We've done it, Alex. We found a way to create a stable seventh-dimensional field." As the implications of their discovery sank in, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and a voice boomed over the speakers. "Security breach. Unknown entities have infiltrated the perimeter." Samira and Alex exchanged panicked looks. How had anyone found their secret base? "We need to secure the data," Samira said urgently. "Everything we've worked for is at stake." They rushed to download their findings onto a secure drive. Outside, they could hear the sounds of combat. The facility's security forces were engaging the intruders. "Who do you think it is?" Alex asked, his voice shaking. "Rival governments. Corporate spies." Samira shook her head. "I don't know, but we can't let them get their hands on this technology. The consequences could be catastrophic." Just as they finished the download, the lab door burst open. To their shock, it wasn't human intruders who entered, but alien beings. Their bodies seemed to shift and change, as if they weren't fully present in this dimension. "Step away from the computers," one of the aliens demanded, its voice resonating oddly in the air. Samira stood her ground, clutching the drive. "Who are you? How did you find us?" The alien's form rippled. "We are the Watchers. We monitor all developing civilizations. Your work has not gone unnoticed, Dr. Khan." Alex stepped forward protectively. "You have no right to interfere with our research." The alien's eyes, if they could be called that, narrowed. "You don't understand the forces you're dealing with. The seventh dimension is not meant for your kind. We're here to put a stop to this before you destroy yourselves, and possibly the galaxy with you." Samira's mind raced. These beings clearly had advanced technology, possibly even mastery over higher dimensions themselves, but she couldn't let years of work be destroyed. Making a split-second decision, she tossed the drive to Alex. "Run," she shouted. As Alex bolted for the emergency exit, Samira lunged for the main computer. If she could just initiate the delete protocol. But the aliens were faster. A beam of energy struck her, freezing her in place. She watched helplessly as they began to systematically destroy the lab. Yet even as her life's work crumbled around her, Samira felt a glimmer of hope. Alex had escaped with the drive. The project could continue. Humanity still had a chance. As the aliens led her away, Samira allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy thought humans were primitive and harmless. Soon, they would learn just how wrong they were. The laughter would stop, and a new era would begin. The secret of the seventh dimension was out there now, racing away in Alex's hands. And with it, the future of humanity hung in the balance. Alex's heart pounded as he raced through the underground tunnels of the secret facility. The precious data drive felt heavy in his pocket, carrying the weight of humanity's future. Behind him, he could hear the sounds of pursuit. The strange, shifting aliens were not giving up easily. As he rounded a corner, he nearly collided with a familiar face. "Commander Jensen," Alex gasped. The grizzled military officer grabbed Alex's arm. "This way, son. We've got an escape route ready." They hurried through a series of hidden passages, finally emerging in a remote valley. A sleek, experimental aircraft was waiting for them. "What about Dr. Khan?" Alex asked as they boarded. Jensen's face darkened. "We'll get her back. But right now, our priority is securing that data." As the aircraft took off, cloaking itself from detection, Alex couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and dread. They had done it. They had cracked the secret of the seventh dimension. But at what cost? Thousands of miles away, in a top-secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, a team of engineers and scientists waited anxiously. When Alex and Commander Jensen arrived with the data, the room erupted in a flurry of activity. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the lead engineer, immediately began analyzing the information. Her eyes widened as she scrolled through the complex equations and diagrams. "It's incredible," she breathed. "Dr. Khan has done it. She's found a way to create a stable seventh-dimensional field." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. With the theoretical groundwork laid by Dr. Khan's team, Dr. Tanaka and her engineers set about the monumental task of turning theory into reality. The construction of humanity's first seventh-dimensional vessel was no small feat. Traditional materials couldn't withstand the stresses of higher-dimensional travel, so new alloys had to be created. The power requirements were staggering, necessitating the development of new energy sources. As word of the project spread through the highest levels of Earth's governments, resources poured in. The entire planet seemed to hold its breath, pinning its hopes on this revolutionary technology. There were setbacks, of course. The first prototype imploded spectacularly, nearly taking the entire facility with it. The second prototype managed to generate a seventh-dimensional field, but couldn't maintain it for more than a few seconds. But with each failure came new insights. Dr. Tanaka and her team worked tirelessly, refining their designs, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Meanwhile, Ambassador Sarah Chen continued her diplomatic efforts in the Galactic Council. The mockery hadn't stopped, but she endured it with a secret smile. If only they knew what was coming. Finally, after months of grueling work, the day of the first full-scale test arrived. The vessel, dubbed Prometheus, stood ready in a massive underground hangar. It didn't look like any spacecraft ever built before. Its hull seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it wasn't entirely present in our dimension. Dr. Tanaka addressed the assembled team. "Today we make history, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. What we do here will change everything." As the countdown began, tension filled the air. Would it work, or would years of effort end in failure? The engines roared to life, a sound unlike anything heard before. Energy crackled around the ship, and for a moment, it seemed as if reality itself was bending. And then, in a flash of light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, Prometheus vanished. Silence fell over the control room. Had it worked, or had they just witnessed a catastrophic failure? Seconds ticked by, feeling like an eternity. Then suddenly, the communication system crackled to life. "Control, this is Prometheus," a voice came through, filled with awe. "We've done it. We're somewhere else. Somewhere incredible." Cheers erupted throughout the facility. They had done it. Humanity had taken its first step into the seventh dimension. As the information was relayed to world leaders, A sense of triumph swept the globe. The age of ridicule was coming to an end. Soon, the entire galaxy would know what humanity was truly capable of. In her cell on a distant world, Dr. Samira Khan felt a sudden surge of hope. She didn't know how, but she was certain. Her work had borne fruit. Humanity was on the brink of a new era, and not even the Watchers could stop it now. The laughter was about to stop, and the real journey was just beginning. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Gone were the sneers and laughter that usually greeted the human delegation. Instead, fear and panic filled the air as representatives from 1,000 worlds argued and shouted. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, her face grim but determined. She had just delivered news that had shaken the galaxy to its core. "I repeat," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. "The Zorlax Empire has issued an ultimatum. They demand the immediate surrender of all independent worlds, or they will unleash their fleet." The Zorlax were a mysterious and terrifying force. Until now, they had been considered nothing more than a myth, a bogeyman story told to scare young aliens. But the evidence Sarah had presented was undeniable. The Zorlax were real, and they were coming. Grokthar, the council president, slammed his massive claw down, silencing the room. "How?" he demanded. "How could such a threat have escaped our notice?" Sarah took a deep breath. "The Zorlax have been hiding in the spaces between dimensions. Our recent advancements in higher dimensional travel accidentally alerted them to our presence." A ripple of accusation spread through the chamber. "So this is the humans' fault?" someone shouted. "No," Sarah countered firmly. "This was inevitable. The Zorlax have been planning this for eons. We just happened to be the ones to discover them." As the council descended into arguments once more, Sarah's communicator buzzed. It was a message from Earth. "Prometheus ready. Awaiting your signal." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. It was time. "Esteemed members of the council," she called out, her voice ringing with authority. "Earth has a solution." The chamber fell silent, all eyes turning to her. Even now, some faces showed disbelief. What could these primitive humans possibly offer against such a threat? "We have developed technology that can traverse the 7th dimension," Sarah announced. "We have a vessel capable of meeting the Zorlax on their own turf." For a moment, there was stunned silence. Then, predictably, laughter erupted. But this time, it was tinged with hysteria. "Absurd," cried Ambassador Zixlor. "You expect us to believe that you, who were struggling with basic interstellar travel just years ago, have mastered the 7th dimension." Sarah stood her ground. "We don't ask you to believe. We ask you to let us prove it." As the council debated, reports began flooding in from the outer reaches of the galaxy. The Zorlax fleet had been spotted. Worlds were going dark, their communications cut off. Finally, Grokthar made a decision. "Very well, Ambassador Chen, you have one chance. Show us this miracle vessel of yours." With a nod, Sarah sent the signal. Moments later, the air in the center of the chamber began to shimmer and distort. Council members scrambled back as reality itself seemed to bend. In a flash of otherworldly light, the Prometheus appeared. It hovered impossibly in the air, its hull shimmering with energies no one in the chamber had ever seen before. Gasps and cries of shock filled the room. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before speaking again. "This is the Prometheus," she declared, "Earth's first 7th dimensional vessel. With it, we can strike at the heart of the Zorlax Empire." The council erupted in a frenzy of questions and demands. How did it work? Could it really defeat the Zorlax? Why had Earth kept this a secret? As Sarah fielded questions, her communicator buzzed again. This time, it was a priority message from Earth's Defense Command. "Zorlax forces detected entering Sol system. Engaging now, but our conventional defenses are ineffective. We need Prometheus back immediately." Sarah's blood ran cold. The Zorlax weren't just coming. They were already here. Earth was under attack. She turned to the council, her voice urgent. "There's no more time for debate. Earth is under attack. We're going to face the Zorlax, with or without your support. But remember, if Earth falls, you're next." With that, Sarah strode towards the Prometheus. As she approached, a hatch opened in its shimmering hull. She paused at the threshold, turning back to the stunned council. "For years, you laughed at us, called us primitive. Well, now we're your only hope. The laughter stops today." And with that, Sarah entered the Prometheus. In another flash of impossible light, the ship vanished, leaving behind a chamber full of shocked and humbled aliens. The battle for the galaxy had begun, and humanity was leading the charge. The Prometheus emerged from its dimensional jump just outside Earth's orbit. Ambassador Sarah Chen felt her stomach lurch as reality reasserted itself. She had thought she was prepared for seventh-dimensional travel, but nothing could truly ready you for the experience of existing in multiple planes of reality at once. "Status report," she called out, shaking off the disorientation. Captain Maria Rodriguez, the ship's commander, responded from her station. "All systems operational, Ambassador. We're picking up multiple Zorlax ships in the system. They're engaging our defense fleet." Sarah moved to the main view screen, her heart sinking at the sight before her. Dozens of Zorlax vessels, each easily the size of a small moon, were tearing through Earth's defenses like they were made of paper. "We need to draw their attention," Sarah said. "Show them what Prometheus can really do." Captain Rodriguez nodded, a grim smile on her face. "With pleasure, Ambassador. All hands, prepare for dimensional shift." The crew of Prometheus, handpicked from the best and brightest Earth had to offer, sprang into action. Engineers monitored the ship's revolutionary power core. Scientists fine-tuned the dimensional field generators, and weapons officers prepared systems that defied conventional physics. As Prometheus approached the battle, the Zorlax ships seemed to take notice. Several of the massive vessels broke off their attack on Earth to intercept this new threat. "They're charging weapons," the tactical officer reported. "Initiate phase shift protocol," Captain Rodriguez ordered. Just as the Zorlax ships fired, Prometheus flickered. There was no other word for it. One moment it was there, the next it wasn't, the energy beams passing harmlessly through the space it had occupied. On the bridge of the lead Zorlax ship, Overlord Krasnak watched in disbelief. "Impossible," he hissed through razor-sharp teeth. "No species in this galaxy has mastered phase-shifting technology." Back on Prometheus, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Send the message," she instructed. Across all frequencies, in every language known to the galaxy, Prometheus broadcast its challenge. "Zorlax Empire. This is the Earth ship Prometheus. Your invasion ends here. Withdraw now, or face the consequences." For a moment, there was silence. Then, to everyone's surprise, a response came. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the alien visage of Overlord Krasnak. "Brave words, little humans," the Zorlax leader sneered. "But do you truly think one ship can stand against the might of our empire? We have conquered 1,000 dimensions." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady. "We don't think, Overlord. We know. Allow us to demonstrate." With a nod to Captain Rodriguez, Sarah gave the order they had all been waiting for. "Activate the 7th dimension drive." The ship hummed with power, reality itself seeming to bend around it. And then, to the astonishment of both the Zorlax and the watching forces of Earth, Prometheus began to change. It grew larger, much larger, expanding in ways that shouldn't have been possible in three-dimensional space. Parts of it seemed to fade in and out of existence, while others glowed with energies never before seen in this universe. On the Zorlax ships, alarms blared. "Dimensional anomaly detected," a panicked officer reported to Krasnak. It's operating on all 7 dimensions simultaneously." Krasnak's eyes widened in genuine fear for the first time in centuries. "Impossible," he whispered. "Fire everything we have." The Zorlax fleet unleashed a barrage that could have shattered a planet. But as the energy beams approached Prometheus, they simply vanished, absorbed into higher dimensions. And then Prometheus struck back. Weapons powered by the fundamental forces of reality lashed out. Zorlak's ships found themselves twisted into impossible shapes, their matter scattered across multiple dimensions. Others simply winked out of existence, banished to realms beyond mortal comprehension. In the space of a few minutes, the mighty Zorlak's invasion fleet was reduced to scattered remnants, fleeing in terror from the power they had awakened. On the bridge of Prometheus, the crew watched in awe at what they had accomplished. Sarah felt a mix of pride and humility. They had saved Earth, possibly the entire galaxy, but at what cost? The power they wielded was beyond anything she had imagined. As the last Zorlak ships vanished into higher dimensions, Sarah turned to Captain Rodriguez. "Send a message to Earth and to the Galactic Council," she said softly. Tell them the threat is over, and that we need to talk." The laughter had indeed stopped. But as Prometheus hung in space, its power still radiating across multiple dimensions, Sarah couldn't help but wonder what would come next. The galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity now stood at the center of it all. The age of mockery was over. The age of responsibility had begun. The victory over the Zorlak's invasion fleet was just the beginning. As Prometheus hovered in Earth's orbit, its crew basking in the afterglow of their triumph, a chilling realization set in. The Zorlak's empire wasn't defeated, it had merely retreated. Ambassador Sarah Chen paced the bridge, her mind racing. "We've only struck the first blow," she said to Captain Rodriguez. "The real battle is yet to come." As if on cue, the ship's sensors blared to life. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now serving as the ship's chief scientist, called out from her station. "We're detecting massive dimensional disturbances. The Zorlaks are regrouping in the higher dimensions." Sarah's eyes narrowed. This was it. The moment humanity would truly prove itself. "Prepare for dimensional shift," she ordered. "We're taking the fight to them." Captain Rodriguez nodded grimly. "All hands, brace for seventh dimensional transit." As Prometheus engaged its revolutionary drive, the very fabric of reality seemed to twist and warp around the ship. The familiar starscape of normal space faded away, replaced by a kaleidoscope of impossible colors and shifting geometries. They had entered the higher dimensions, the home territory of the Zorlaks. The crew struggled to make sense of their surroundings. In this realm, concepts like up and down lost all meaning. Objects existed in multiple states simultaneously, and time itself seemed to flow in strange eddies and currents. "How are we supposed to fight in this?" one of the younger officers asked, his voice tinged with awe and fear. Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady. "We adapt. We evolve, just as we've always done." Dr. Tanaka's voice cut through the tension. "I'm detecting Zorlak's energy signatures. They're everywhere and nowhere. It's hard to pinpoint in this dimensional flux." Suddenly, the ship shuddered as if struck by an immense force. But instead of physical damage, crew members reported strange sensations. Memories changing, alternate realities bleeding through. "They're attacking our timeline," Dr. Tanaka shouted. "Trying to erase our victory, maybe even our entire civilization." Captain Rodriguez gripped her command chair. "Fire back. Use the chrono cannons." Weapons powered by the fundamental forces of reality lashed out from Prometheus. In normal space, they would have looked like beams of pure energy. Here, in the higher dimensions, they manifested as cascading waves of probability, rewriting the very laws of cause and effect. The battle raged across multiple planes of existence. In one moment, Prometheus was surrounded by a fleet of Zorlak ships. In the next, those ships had never existed, erased from history by a well-placed shot. But the Zorlaks fought back, their mastery of these realms evident in every counterattack. Sarah watched the conflict unfold on displays that hurt her eyes to look at directly. It was a war unlike any in human history. A war where the victors would not just win a battle, but would define the very nature of reality itself. As the fighting intensified, Sarah felt a strange sensation. Memories that weren't hers began to surface. Versions of herself that had made different choices, lived different lives. The boundaries between possible realities were breaking down. "We're losing cohesion," Dr. Tanaka called out. "If this continues, we'll fracture into countless alternate timelines." Sarah steeled herself. They needed something to anchor them, to keep them grounded in their own reality. An idea struck her. "Everyone, focus," she shouted above the dimensional chaos. "Remember who we are. Remember Earth. Remember humanity. Our strength isn't just in this ship. It's in our spirit, our determination." As her words rang out, something remarkable happened. The crew's collective will seem to stabilize the ship, creating a bubble of familiar reality amidst the dimensional storm. Captain Rodriguez seized the moment. All power to the primary weapon. "Let's end this." Prometheus unleashed its full might, not just a weapon, but the combined will and determination of humanity focused into a single point. It tore through the higher dimensions like a spear of pure possibility, striking at the heart of the Zorlax fleet. For a moment that seemed to last an eternity, everything hung in the balance. Then, with a reality-shaking explosion, the Zorlax command ship shattered across 1,000 dimensions. The effect rippled outward. Without their leaders, the Zorlax forces fell into disarray. Some fled deeper into unknown dimensions, while others found themselves trapped in pockets of fractured spacitime. As the dimensional turbulence began to subside, Sarah let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. They had done it. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But as Prometheus began its journey back to normal space, Sarah knew that this victory came with a heavy responsibility. They had glimpsed realities beyond imagination, wielded power that could reshape the cosmos. The laughter had stopped, replaced by a mix of awe and apprehension. Humanity now stood at a crossroads of cosmic importance. What they did next would shape not just their future, but the future of all reality. As the familiar stars of home came into view, Sarah Chen prepared herself for the challenges ahead. The real work was just beginning. The return of Prometheus to Earth's orbit was met with a mixture of jubilation and trepidation. News of humanity's victory over the Zorlax had spread across the galaxy faster than light itself, carried by ripples in the fabric of spacetime. As Ambassador Sarah Chen stepped off the ship onto the platform of the newly constructed Orbital Diplomatic Center, she was greeted by a sight she never thought she'd see. Representatives from every major galactic civilization, standing together in respectful silence. Gone were the sneers and mockery that had once greeted human delegates. In their place was a palpable sense of awe, and perhaps a touch of fear. Grokthar, the Galactic Council President, stepped forward. His massive form seemed somehow diminished in the presence of the humans who had saved the galaxy. "Ambassador Chen," he rumbled, his voice uncharacteristically humble, "on behalf of the Galactic Council, and indeed all sentient life in the universe, we extend our deepest gratitude." Sarah nodded, her face serious. "The threat is over, but our work is just beginning." Over the next few weeks, the Orbital Diplomatic Center became the focal point of intense negotiations. The galaxy's power structure had been irrevocably altered, and a new order needed to be established. Earth, once a backwater planet barely worth noticing, now found itself at the center of galactic politics. The seventh dimensional technology that powered Prometheus had reshaped the balance of power overnight. Some alien races pushed for Earth to take control, to become the new leaders of a galactic empire. Others, still wary of the young species that had advanced so quickly, argued for restrictions on the use of higher dimensional technology. Through it all, Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to forge a path forward. They knew the responsibility they now carried, not just for humanity, but for all life in the cosmos. In a historic address to the Galactic Council, now convened on Earth itself, Sarah laid out humanity's vision for the future. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice carried to every corner of the galaxy. The power we now wield could reshape reality itself. But we have not forgotten our history, our struggles, or the lessons we've learned. She paused, looking out at the assembled alien dignitaries. We do not seek to rule, but to cooperate. We propose the formation of a new galactic alliance, one where all species work together to explore the frontiers of science and push the boundaries of what's possible. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Some were eager to join this new alliance, while others remained skeptical. But all recognized the truth in Sarah's words. The old ways were gone, and a new era had dawned. As the negotiations continued, Earth saw rapid changes. The influx of alien knowledge and technology accelerated human advancement even further. Cities began to extend into higher dimensions, medical breakthroughs eliminated diseases thought incurable, and the average human lifespan doubled, then tripled. But with this progress came new challenges. Earth had to quickly develop laws and ethical frameworks for technologies beyond anything they had imagined. The question of how to responsibly use their newfound power was a constant topic of debate. Meanwhile, the crew of Prometheus became legends. Captain Rodriguez and Dr. Tanaka led missions to explore the furthest reaches of the higher dimensions, making discoveries that rewrote the fundamentals of science. And in a secret facility, under the watchful eye of the newly formed Dimensional Defense Force, Dr. Samira Khan, finally rescued from her alien captors, worked on unraveling the deepest mysteries of the universe. As the years passed, the galaxy entered a new golden age. The Galactic Alliance, with Earth as a key member but not its ruler, pushed the boundaries of exploration and discovery. Conflicts still arose, but they were now settled through diplomacy and mutual understanding. The memory of the Zorlax threat, a constant reminder of the need for unity. Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's senior diplomat to the galaxy, often found herself looking up at the stars. The laughter had indeed stopped, replaced by respect, cooperation, and a shared sense of wonder at the infinite possibilities that lay before them. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had gone from a species barely able to reach their own moon to guardians of cosmic peace in less than a generation. As she watched a group of human and alien children playing together, their forms shimmering as they phased playfully between dimensions, Sarah smiled. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But one thing was clear: humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning. The laughter had stopped, but a symphony of unity had taken its place, and its music would echo across all dimensions for eons to come.